Hello, hello. I'm going to teach you how to do the devil's elevator trick. This is a very simple trick, I'd say. Most beginners can do it pretty easily. Today I'll be using the High Victorian from Theory 11 just because I think it looks nice. And I will perform the trick first. That way you can see it in all of its glory before you're spoiled. So I have 5 cards in my hand. I have the ace, the 2, the 3, the 4, and I have the 5 of hearts. So we have the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, and the ace of hearts. And we'll set them down. We'll put down the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, and we have the ace in our hand. So we'll put the ace on top of the deck, like so. Take the ace, put him at the bottom of the deck, double tap. Magically, the ace is back on top. So we'll take the 2, put the 2 on top, double tap. Magically, the 2 is at the bottom. We'll split the deck in half. We'll take the 3, double tap, and magically, the 3 is over here. We'll take the 4, put the 4 over here, double tap, and magically, the 4 is over here. And for the final one, we'll take the 5, put the 5 here, put the deck on top of them like so, double tap. Magically, the 5 is back on top. That is the devil's elevator trick, making cards teleport from bottom to top, top to bottom, left to right, right to left, and from middle to top. It requires very little sleight of hand, and it's mostly a setup trick. It can be done by any beginner, really. You just have to practice some very basic sleight of hand. But here, I'll show you how it's done. Let's magically pick a card that I like. Getting a lot of rat. Okay, let's go with this guy. Jack of spades. I like jacks. So, to begin the trick, you must lie at the beginning. You have the 5 cards in your hand in quotation marks. You actually have 6 cards in your hand. And what you're doing is essentially a pure setup trick. This is the only part of the trick which requires sleight of hand. You show the audience, hey, I have 5 cards in my hand. Now, most people, if you're doing a magic trick, won't believe you, so you have to make it believable. You have to be like, okay, I only have 5 cards. I have the ace, the 2, the 3, the 4, and I have the 5. And as you're doing this, you're just hiding the extra card behind the 5. You got to do it well, though. It's extremely difficult to tell if there's 2 cards there, but if someone's perceptive enough, they can notice. So you want to hold it, just right. You don't want to give off that you're holding 2 cards or accidentally fan them like that, because you can notice that there's more than 1 card in your hand. So you just want to show really quickly, oh, these are all my cards, the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, and the ace. And after this is done, you've essentially done all the sleight of hand you need to do. From this point on, it's simply a setup trick. So then you lay them out from the top. So we have the 5, the 4, the 3, and the 2. And when you lay them out like that, you still need to be sure that you're hiding the 2 cards in your hand. The 5, the 4, the 3, and the 2. Now this is another lie, because since we have that extra card, what this has done is the card I'm hiding is the ace and the 2. And what this does essentially is when I take the deck and I put the ace on top of the deck and I take him, which really isn't him, I'm taking the 2 and I'm putting him at the bottom. So I move the ace to the bottom, and when I double tap, he's magically back on top, but he never left. He's still there. And what you're doing is you're essentially setting up every trick after the fact, right? Because we've taken the ace and put him at the bottom, which is the 2. So the next trick is taking the 2, putting him on top. You double tap twice, and now he's magically at the bottom, but he was already there. And this sets up the next one. You cut it in half, you put the right deck over here. This was the 2 previously, or the new card. So we take the 3, put the 3 over here, double tap, and hey, look, he's already over there. He hasn't gone anywhere. We take the 4, do the same thing, except we put it on the right, double tap. Hey, look, the 4 is over here because we just put him there. And then for the final card, which isn't the real card, it's a fake, right? So you'll take the fake card saying, oh, I'm taking the 5, put the 5 here on my left, and then put him away in the middle. And hey, look, magically, the 5 is on top. The original way to do the devil's elevator trick is it used to only be 3 cards. These 4 and 5 weren't actually there. The way that the 4 and the 5 were introduced, well, to me anyway, was I had an apprentice that I used to teach, and he, after I showed him the devil's elevator using only the 3 cards, was like, what if I add to the experience? So he went home that day and he decided that he would add cards to it. He's like, how can I make this more enjoyable? And so the ace, let me show the original actually. Let me take a random card. Ace, 2, 3, 6. Oh, that's wrong order. Hold on. So this used to be the original. You would show the ace, the 2, and you'd hide the other card. And it used to only be this, the 3, the 2, and you had the ace in your hand. So ace goes on top, just like the original. Take the ace, put him at the bottom. You double tap. Ace is on top. Take the 2, put the 2 on top. Double tap. 2's at the bottom. Split the deck in half. Take the 3, put the 3 on top. Double tap. Hey, look, 3's over there. That used to be the original. And then he decided to add the 4 and the 5. And essentially what the 4 and the 5 did was you would do the same thing with the 3, going from left to right, but you'd go from right to left. So you'd put the next card, which would be the 5 over here, double tap. 4 would magically go from right to left, and then you have like an extra card go here, double tap, or you close them up, double tap, and hey, look, the 5 is magically back on top. So it is good to have extra mind into the idea of magic, because once you learn something a certain way, you kind of stick to it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I learned to do chopping wood this way with an axe, right? And you chop it going from like up to down. And then you get, that's just how you do it. And then you show someone else, hey, this is how I chop wood. I go from up to down. And then that person's like, oh, okay. And then they think, well, what if I do it a little bit differently? What if I make it better? And they chop slightly at an angle from, going up to down. And it's efficient, or it's more efficient. And so it's kind of like a stuck in stone way. Like, this is my stuck in stone is the ace to 3. And then he came along and added 2 more cards to it. And now I do it this way because it's better. It's more efficient. It gets more enjoyable experience out of it. But that is a key thing to the mind of adapting and understanding. You want an outside source to come in that can show you things can improve, things can get better. Sometimes it's good to take criticism or ideas, because if I were to say, no, that's a bad idea, he, wouldn't have made this, right? So it's good to give positive reinforcement, being like, hey, this is a good idea you have. And so you feed off of each other's ideas. I show him something and he's improved on it. He shows me something and I take it and improve on it. And that is the key to all magic. I don't believe magic should always be hidden unless the person creating it is their own idea, right? Their own original magic trick. That way it's always special to them. But common basic magic, or even advanced magic tricks, I believe should be shown, mostly just to help improve the ideas of magic, right? If you have an apprentice who simply, or a master, an apprentice, he takes an apprentice in and he's like, hey, I'm going to show you the tricks I know, but not all of them. So after he, gets done doing his apprenticing, he now has to learn things the master already knows. So he's going to spend his life learning what his master already knows to not be better than him. He'll be equivalent to him, or maybe he'll find some new things, right? But when he takes an apprentice to his side, and he does the same thing, you just have this unending loop of the same knowledge with like 1 or 2 things being added over time, right? So if you just take an apprentice and you teach them everything you know, then they can adapt everything. They can think of newer ways instead of trying to figure out how the trick's even done, right? That's my philosophy on magic. It's best to show tricks as they are to see if greater minds can improve upon them. And I dabbled in the concept with the devil's elevator trick using 12 cards, right? Like ace through 12. And it does work, but it's very sloppy, right? Like I couldn't perfect the performance part of it. It can be done. It's just not very good looking in a performance perspective. I've found that the ace through the five are the greatest, right? Top to bottom, or bottom to top, top to bottom, left to right, right to left, and then middle to top, right? That's kind of like the whole deal with the deck. But I hope you enjoyed. I will be posting a couple more magic tricks that are some of my favorites. The Devil's Elevator has always been a nice favorite of mine. It's not my personal favorite. I might show my personal favorite on here soon, but I hope you enjoyed and you like listening to me ramble. And goodbye.